Hello, Algebros. Today we are going to be talking about if a function is even, odd, or neither. So let's talk about what those words mean. An even function is symmetrical about the y-axis. So if you can fold the graph in half along the y-axis and the graph matches up with itself, then it is an even function. So if we look here at our even function example, if you can imagine folding that graph vertically or hot dog style, I guess it's a square, so it wouldn't really matter. But if you fold it along the y-axis, you should be able to see that it will line up with itself. So you can see that those dots are directly 1 unit away from the y-axis. That point is directly 2 units away from the y-axis on both sides. So it would fold over onto itself. Now an odd functions are symmetrical about the origin. So from geometry, they have rotational symmetry. So if you can rotate it 180 degrees and the graph looks the same, then it is an odd function. So I'm actually going to do that here. It's going to kind of mess up the picture for a little bit, but remember we're going down on the left and up on the right. So if I rotate my graph 180 degrees, you can see I'm still going down on the left and up on the right. So it is an odd function. So let's take a look at these graphs and determine. So on your assignment, I have added text boxes so you can just type into it. So if we look at this, if I were to fold that along the y-axis, you can see that over here on the left, we're at an x value of -4, and on the right, we're at an x value of 1. So if I fold it along the y-axis, this point is going to land on 4 over here, and it's not going to line up. So this graph is not even, and if I rotate it 180 degrees, you can see it's now facing down. So it's not odd either. So it's neither. Right, looking at our second one, if I were to fold it along the y-axis, you can see our graph exists up here in the right, or in the first quadrant, and it exists in the third quadrant. So if I were to fold it over, this one in the third quadrant would end up in the fourth quadrant, and you can see that it will never overlap. So it's not even, but let's see if it's odd. So remember, we're swoopy down on the left and swoopy on the right. That was my non-mathematical way of describing it. So we're swoopy here on the left and swoopy on the right. So it has rotational symmetry, so it is an odd function. Let's take a look at this one. This is I can't remember if it's a sine wave or a cosine wave, but it's one of the waves. So it's going to continue to go up and down forever and ever. If I were to fold it on the y-axis, we can see that we're about a -1.5 over here, a positive 1.5 over here, positive half, negative half. So if you were to fold it over, that negative half would map onto positive half, and the -1.5 would map onto the positive 1.5. So it is even for sure. Let's see if it's also odd. So we're going up in the middle. If we rotate it 180 degrees, we're going down in the middle. So it's not odd, it's only even. All right, let's take a look at this next one. If I were to fold this graph on the y-axis, you can see that we have an x value of -1 here and an x value of +1 over here, but the y value is different. So if you were to fold this over, this point would map down here, and our line would make like a V. So it's not even. Let's see if it's odd. Rotate. Remember our original graph, the y-intercept was way up here. Now it's way down here. So it is neither. All right, our next graph, if I were to fold it along the y-axis, this point would map directly back onto each other. So it is even. Let's just double check to see if it's odd. So we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. And remember, our line was up here and now it's down here, so it's not odd, it is only even. All right, our last graph. If I were to fold it along the y-axis, this line would map over here and do this and crisscross, so it's not even. Let's see if it's odd. So remember, on the left side, we're swooping down over here, and on the right side, we're swooping up. So let's see if it happens. Oh, look, we're swooping left over here and up over here, so it is an odd function. All right, so that is how you tell if a function is even or odd graphically. In my next video, we're going to learn how to tell if a function is even or odd algebraically. So stay tuned. Happy mathing, and can you, in the chat, can you tell me if your birthday is on an even or an odd day? So if your birthday is on the 12th, it's an even day. If it's on the 15th, it's an odd day. So just type even or odd in the chat, and then I'll double check on Synergy to see who's just writing words and who actually knows. But anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one so you can see how to find out if they're even or odd algebraically. Happy mathing!